Welcome back again to another video of the Jehovah's Witnesses Untold Truth. Just wanted to start with a huge thank you. Thank you so much. We actually had 1,000 views on the previous video, which was the Shannon video. Actually, that was 1,000 views on the Spanish version. The English version had like 300, 400 views, I think. Twice as much. I'm not sure why. Come on, English. No, just kidding. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much for all your likes and for the comments. There were some amazing comments in those videos. We had some JWs. I'm pretty sure they were, because they were defending still the Shining doctrine. Of course, claiming there was all lies, but you know, that's up to them to believe whatever they want to believe in. But anyway, thank you so much again. Thank you so much for the likes and for the new subscribers too. We thank you so much. So this video, wow, this video is gonna be about a really hot topic, because this topic is about the kingdom halls, which something's going on with the kingdom halls. We all know this, and it's around the world, and they are not being used, and there's something else happening with them as well. I've seen other churches they're starting to use the kingdom halls in a COVID safe manner, but still they're using them, you know, bit by bit. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they're definitely not using them at all. Actually, I should put a little disclaimer. They're using it for disfellowshipping people. That is one thing that they're using it for. Anyway, also I wanted to say that the excuses that I've heard about why the kingdom halls are not being used, there are quite a few of them. Some of the most usual one is that the watchtower is making sure that the less fortunate countries can build their own, so the watchtower can have some funds to build other halls in the less fortunate countries by selling these other kingdom halls. The other excuses that I've heard was that the kingdom halls weren't used to the max capacity. The kingdom halls that are sold were in bad shape, so they needed to get rid of them. Okay, I can't deny that. Might be the case for some of them, but who knows. But the way that we are going to tackle this topic is that we're going to see the history, first of all, how the Jehovah's Witnesses built such a huge amount of kingdom halls. We're gonna see what was the previous arrangement and the current arrangement, and we'll see what is going on with all that. But we are going to see how the watchtower systematically and carefully took over the kingdom halls, the bank accounts of the congregations, and the funds as well. We're gonna show step by step how this was accomplished. A little disclaimer though. We can make our own conclusions with the following proof that we are going to present to you. Anything above what we can show you is beyond our capacity, because we don't have the proof, and the watchtower is not very clear with the financial statements and where the money is going or coming in or anything. So we can just make the most rational reasoning or conclusion of what is going on. So let's roll the first clip, and thank you for watching and enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe, of course. Thank you. So Jehovah's Witnesses before World War I used to meet in private homes. As the Bible students, that's how they used to be called before Jehovah's Witnesses, the Bible students, and the society did not have the funds to build or to purchase halls, so they used to meet at their own private homes. So let's watch one of the clips, and this will show you how a typical Bible study meeting at homes used to be.
And all this congregation will know that neither with sword nor with spear does Jehovah save, because to Jehovah belongs the battle, and he must give you men into our hand. And it occurred that the Philistine rose and kept coming, and drawing nearer to meet David. And David began hurrying and running toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. Then David thrust his hand into his bag and took a stone from there and slung it so that he struck the Philistine in his forehead, and the stone sank into his forehead, and he went falling upon his face to the earth.
Wow. Wow, what a story for kids, huh? Oh well. So after World War II, the Jehovah's Witnesses started forming many congregations because they were growing really fast. So when a decision was to build a kingdom hall, each congregation or a few congregations, if they didn't have enough numbers, will get a loan for themselves and they will build the kingdom hall. So this loan that they acquire, they will purchase the land, and with the free labor and materials that were obtained by the members of the congregation, will build the kingdom hall. As we can see, this is one example of very old kingdom hall.
I found that Bible discussions, shared with the whole family regularly, has helped to bring us close together. There's so many things to talk about. Principles that are taught become deep-rooted. The disrespect you find in people today, young and old, stems from their insecurity.
So, once they got the kingdom hall built and everything, what happened with the congregation? Well, once a month, during the service meeting, the congregation will read the kingdom hall's financial report. The report will account for all the money taken in. So the money that comes into the congregation will be the literature that was sold, because we used to sell the literature for a price. I think it was, I don't know, in the late 90s, I think it was around 50 cents. I'm not sure. Back in the 40s, I'm not sure how much they will be asking for. It was a donation, but it was sold to the public. So the money that will come in was from the literature, from the donation box, and from private contributions, and from the interest earned from the bank accounts. So all the donations will go into the bank account, and the interest that was made from that was used for the expenses of the kingdom hall. So a complete list of all expenses would be utilities, cleaning supplies, fire insurance, and literature purchased from the Watchtower Society. So before the kingdom hall, the congregation will get their literature, the kingdom hall will make a list of all the literature that they require, all the books and all the Bibles that the congregation members needed. They will make a catalog of how much. There was a catalog back then of how much each book will cost. So that list will be sent to the Watchtower with the payment, and the congregation will get the books afterwards. And also the money, they will put some money aside for reserves. So for upgrades of the kingdom hall, or for any maintenance, or for any repairs that the kingdom hall needed as well. And also a reported payment of the loan of the kingdom hall was announced as well, of how much money was left for the payment for the kingdom hall. So that was an announcement that was done every month or every so often. So what happened when the kingdom hall the congregation managed to pay the loan for the kingdom hall? So once the loan was paid off, there will be a big announcement that the mortgage loan was being paid off, and everyone in the congregation will stood up and clap and hug each other because they were happy that they finally owned the kingdom hall, and that was was a praise to Jehovah, pretty much to the God, for enabling this hall to be owned by the congregation. So now the congregation will have funds, plenty of funds to upgrade and improve the hall to further glorify Jehovah's name, of course. And that's exactly what the congregation did. The building got a new roof, new exterior doors, a new fence, a new paint inside out, a new carpet, or they will, put fancy new curtains as well, a new microphone system. Even though now in the late 2000s, I think, they went upgrading the security system. They needed money to upgrade the security system and put beautiful big plasma TVs, 3 of them, I think, on top of the projector as well that they had. Actually, no, they had the projector first, and then they upgraded to the plasma TVs, 65 inch or so. In my Kindle hall that I went to had like 3 big, huge 17-inch, 17-inch plasma TVs. So a construction of a Kindle hall will look like this. This is a time lapse that I got from the internet. So you can see all the workers there working very hard. So usually they would, I don't know, some places they would take a week or a weekend, or a couple of weeks as well. And this is the finished product. But not all Kindle halls construction have the same level of safety as we just saw in this time lapse, and the resources that we just saw too, the crane and trucks and everything. This is a very good example of how some part of the world's safety is not a priority when building Kindle halls. Let's roll the clip. So pulling. Look at the guy on the top there. Gosh, what if he falls down? Look at the guy, no helmet, no safety boots. Are these kids? Oh my gosh. They even got kids labor. Wow. No safety there either. Sleeping on the grounds. Wow. So yeah, they're building a Kindle hall there. That's the finished product. So let's recap about the congregation, the donations from the congregation. So the local congregation donations paid for the land, the construction, and the materials came from all the donations. Even though the congregation never passed a plate, no one was ever coerced or solicited for money. The funds was used to support all this. So we can see here that the donations was to what the donations go to was to pay for the loans, the utilities, the watchtower literature, and also was used to save some money, and also to support the circuit and district overseers. So these brothers that comes once or every so often, and they will get some money to support them for the work that they do. So they do get paid for an allowance or whatever you call it, for the work that they do. So they go to all the different congregations to visit them, and they do that full time. So they get some funds from each congregation that they visit, and also the donations. Some of the donations will go to the Watchtower Worldwide Work as well. So with the Watchtower Worldwide Work, at the end of each month or every so often, the congregation will vote on a motion to send some of the reserves to the Watchtower Bethel in Warwick. Back then was in Brooklyn, to the headquarters, to be used in the worldwide preaching work. So the local Jehovah's Witnesses own the Kindle hall and have full responsibility to take care of it. When it was necessary to build a new hall, or purchase a new land to build a new hall, so several Kindle halls would give from their own reserves for the down payment for this new hall, and be able to get a loan as well, and be able to build this and construct this new Kindle hall. And that's how the reserves and the down payment was done. A small loan was arranged to complete the transaction, and the loans were typically arranged and funded or guaranteed by the local Jehovah's Witnesses brothers from the congregation. The Watchtower had nothing to do with it back then. No? So post 1980, the Kindle halls, what happened? How was everything changed? Well, thousands of Kindle halls were needed around the world because the numbers of Kindle halls were like the numbers of Jehovah's Witnesses were increasing into the millions and millions, so they needed a lot of kingdom halls around the world. They increased, and it was a huge rate, and many kingdom halls were needed. So these are some of the kingdom halls around the world. I just want to show you a little clips of the kingdom halls that you can see. So after 1980s or thereabouts, the RBC was introduced. This is called the Regional Building Committee. Was introduced to help with loans with payable interests and to help coordinate the construction. But most local elders had the decision making to take this option. So the Washaba got involved now. So when they needed a new kingdom hall, the congregation had the option now to get a loan from the watchtower. I think it was 6%, then it was down to 3%, and eventually they scrapped the interest altogether. But at least they had the option. Instead of going to the banks, they had the option to go to the watchtower and get the interest and be able to build as many kingdom halls as they needed. But in around 2015, the Regional Building Committee was discontinued, and the watchtower introduced the LDC, which was the Local Design Committee. But this arrangement, the difference with this arrangement was the watchtower was fully in power of the decision making, because with the RBC, it still was under the control of three brothers from the region. The watchtower was not in charge. It was only providing the money to provide the loans. But with the LDC now, watchtower had full control of the decision making, how the kingdom hall was to be built and how was to be paid for and everything. So there was and they had to be pre-approved by the LDC before you can go ahead. So if the LDC will say no, we don't like the area or we don't like the design, it will be scrapped and you just have to reapply again. So yeah, that is the difference between the RBC and the LDC. So the Kingdom Hall Master Plan was introduced after the LDC was introduced. So LDC was introduced in 2015, and then after that they brought in the Master Plan. So what is this Master Plan about the Kingdom Halls? So who better to tell us than Stephen Lett, the governing body here? He will tell us what are the plans for this amazing master plan that Jehovah God has approved. Of course, by the governing body first, and then Jehovah approved it. Just kidding. Let's roll the clip and let's have a listen to what Mr. Stephen Lett has to say.
However, there are some facts that we want to make you aware of. For one thing, the financial needs in the field have accelerated at a pace unlike any time in the recent past. A recent analysis of the need for kingdom halls here in the United States showed that some 1,600 new kingdom halls or major renovations are needed, not sometime in the future, but right now. And worldwide, we are in need of more than 14,000 places of worship, not including ongoing future growth. In the past 15 years, 30,000 kingdom halls have been built. Now, if you figure that up, that averages about 2,000 kingdom halls every year. But in an effort to relieve the serious backlog more quickly, we intend, Jehovah willing, to complete 3,000 kingdom hall projects every year going forward. Now, that's a 50% increase. Additionally, adjustments are being made to simplify the kingdom hall design in order to accelerate the construction schedule and to save funds. Though the design will be simplified, the sheer number of kingdom halls requires considerably more funds in the budget than in times past.
So that was very clear, guys. So Stephen Letts said that only US needed 1,600 new kingdom halls, and worldwide was 14,000 new kingdom halls. Not in the future, but now. This was now. This is just after 2015. So, and that's what did he say? 15 years. That's in 15 years they built 30,000 kingdom halls. That's 2,000 kingdom halls built every year, and he wants to increase it to 3,000 kingdom halls every year. So he wants to increase the production to 15% of kingdom halls. So, and that's why he said he needed more donations. So he's asking for money, for more donations, because they're gonna increase the numbers of kingdom halls. It was never mentioned about selling or restructuring the kingdom halls. Just saying that we need more kingdom halls. So let's play the next clip and let's have a look what happened next.
All congregations that had a kingdom hall or assembly hall loan to pay off were informed that their mortgages were canceled.
1 second, what was that? So the Watchtower told Jehovah's Witnesses that all the loans, the mortgages were canceled. Wow. Really? So let's listen to this again, because I wanna make sure that we got this right.
All congregations that had a kingdom hall or assembly hall loan to pay off were informed that their mortgages were canceled.
Yeah, we heard it. They are canceled. They're canceling all the loans. So all congregations, that's it. They have no more mortgages because they brought in the LDC, and LDC was in charge of all the loans and everything. So they're canceling everything. Okay, that's amazing, because only Jehovah's organization can do such a thing. Of course, no? Alright, let's watch the next clip and let's have a look what Mr. Lett has to say about this canceling our loans. Oh, but before we go into that clip, what is the definition about canceling loan cancellations? Because we might have the wrong idea or the wrong understanding. So one definition here was the mortgage cancellation typically means that a lender has canceled or forgiven the debt owned by the borrower. The borrower will be the congregation that was owned by the congregation. So that means the debt is gone. So I'm guessing, I'm assuming that they are not expecting to get more payments for those loans. Am I right? Then yeah, let's have a look.
Now, if you think about it, that is amazing, isn't it?
That is
all
amazing.
Their loans were canceled. Can you imagine a bank telling homeowners that all their loans were canceled?
That would be crazy.
And that they should merely send in to the bank each month whatever they can afford? Only in Jehovah's organization could such a thing happen.
So let's recap before we go on. So he said that the loans were canceled and that only Jehovah's organization can do such a thing. But does the governing body, the Watchtower, has a different meaning to loan cancel. Maybe they don't really mean that. Well, let's have a look what Stephen Lay has to say about these loan cancellations.
That some of the brothers and sisters may have a misconception about some of the recent policy changes that have been instituted. All congregations that had a Kingdom Hall or Assembly Hall loan to pay off were informed that their mortgages
That's very
were
clear
canceled,
to me anyway.
as if the loans did not need to be reimbursed.
Oh, so loans are not cancelled then. That's interesting.
So instead of conveying the message that the organization needed less in the way of donations, the intent was really just the opposite. But we have confidence that our hearts will be moved to contribute what we can each month to offset the necessary expense of building new meeting places for our brothers worldwide.
So the message was not to give less donations, but to increase the donations. Is that even possible? So, first of all, he says the loans are cancelled. The only Jehovah organization can do such a thing. And then he goes on to say, oh, that doesn't mean that they don't have to pay for the loans. They still have to be paid for. So what's the point of to cancel all the loans? There was no cancellation of anything. They still have to pay for their loans. And then this, Stephen Lett now is saying, oh, we didn't really mean to say that we don't need the donations anymore because we're paying off all the loans. No, instead we wanted to make we wanted to encourage more donations instead. Oh gosh, that is unbelievable. Alright, let's watch the next clip.
Again, we are not in any way desirous of creating a hardship on anyone.
Not at all.
However, we felt that if you knew the circumstances accurately, you would apply Proverbs 3:27 to the situation. There, we are encouraged not to withhold what is good. But then the scripture adds, if it is within our power to help.
What can we say here? So he's saying that if we know the circumstances accurately, so show us the financial reports, show us the detailed accounts of the worldwide work. Where is the money going to? Where's the money being spent to? That's not accurately by just telling us a scripture. That it's not accurately. That's just encouraging. Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's keep going.
And I might mention that this is true even of publishers in less affluent countries. It is encouraging to note that even in lands with limited resources, the very poor contribute to the cost of their Kingdom Hall and its maintenance.
So he's just saying that even poor countries has to donate for their own Kingdom Halls. That is encouraging. It's encouraging for what? For you that are from more wealthier countries to donate money to? That is encouraging other people to donate money. But that's not encouraging for the poor brothers that they hardly have any money to buy food, and then they're just saying, oh, they even have to pay for their own Kingdom Halls. So what about you guys that are much more wealthier? My gosh, not even the poor brothers that have been, they hardly have any money. They are still being asked for donations to pay for their own Kingdom Halls. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's have a look what's next. So you might be asking, how did all unfold? What happened next? So how did the Watchtower execute all this carefully? Well, let's have a look at all the proof that we have for you today. So it all began with a letter that was read to all the congregations back in March 2014. Let's have a look at this letter, and this was read to the congregations, or this part anyway. Let's blow it up a little bit so we can see it. So it reads, to all congregations, adjustment to financing Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide. Dear brothers, on September the 1st, 1983, the Kingdom Hall Fund was created to help finance the increasing need for Kingdom Halls. For more than 30 years, this arrangement has served to expand the construction of Kingdom Halls worldwide in a tremendous way by means of Regional Building Committee, or the RBC, and the Program for Lands with Limited Resources. Having sufficient, adequate places of worship is vital as Jehovah continues to speed up the gathering of a mighty nation. In order to meet these ever-increasing needs, the governing body has directed that an adjustment be made in the way Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction projects are financed. Let's go to the next one. In harmony with the principle at 2 Corinthians 8, 12, 14, congregations will now be asked to pool their resources worldwide to support the construction of theocratic facilities wherever they need it. Congregations and assembly halls will no longer be asked to repay a loan, and use of the separate contribution box labeled Kingdom Hall Construction Worldwide has been discontinued. Instead, all congregations will have the opportunity to support the Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide by resolving to make a monthly donation from congregation funds. If individuals publishers wish to donate specifically to support the Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide, such donations will be accepted gladly and used wisely by the branch office. From now on, all funding for approved projects will be provided by the branch office from the funds that have been donated by your dear brothers and sisters. So remember, monthly donations from congregation funds. And where is the congregation funds from? From the donations of Jehovah's Witnesses that they have to make monthly. Let's keep going. The need for Kingdom Halls and Assembly Halls is greater than ever before. At this time, over 13,000 Kingdom Halls projects and 35 Assembly Halls projects are needed worldwide. Much of this need is in parts of the world where the cost of property and building materials is high, and tremendous amount of funds is needed to care for this work. However, we are confident that Jehovah will provide what is needed by your generous support. Time and again, we have seen this take place. For example, it has been 24 years since we began offering literature under the donation arrangement. Yet, Jehovah's blessing on this adjustment has been obvious. We are confident that by means of Jehovah's continued blessing and the generosity of the worldwide brotherhood, the new arrangement for financing Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction will be a success as well. May Jehovah continue to richly bless your hard work and loyal service as you generously support kingdom interests. So they're asking for donations, of course. Alright, let's have a look. So also the previous letter had a part for the elders. So there's a second page. That page was for the elders of all the congregations, but had explicit instructions. They had very clear instructions for the elders not to be read to the congregations. So this second page was not ever read to the congregation. So the normal or the rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses, meaning the normal Jehovah's Witnesses that does not have any privileges or rank, would not know about this second page. So you would notice that the very direct instructions, let's have a look what the instructions were given to the elders on this letter. Let's have a look. So this is the second page. Let me just bring that up. And let's read the first part of it. P.S. to Body of Elders. At the service meeting for the week of April 28, 2014, the congregation should be informed that use of the contribution box labeled Kingdom Hall Construction worldwide will be discontinued on May the 1st, 2014. And that further information will be provided at the following service meeting. Listen to this part. This letter should be read to the congregation during the local needs part on the service meeting for the week of May the 5th, 2014. Congregations having an assembly the week of May 5th should have the letter read the following week. Now, this part. This proscript or this part of this letter should not be read to the congregation, and this letter should not be posted on the information board so nobody can see it, of course. After reading the letter, either a resolution should be presented to the congregation of the survey described below should be taken. The December 7, 2009 letter to all congregations should be removed from the congregation permanent file of policy letters and be destroyed. Updated congregation accounting instructions and forms will begin to be provided in May 2014. So they want the elders, first of all, not to show this to the congregation, hush hush, just for your knowledge. And they want the elders to take a survey of how much each Jehovah's Witnesses can donate monthly. What is the minimum amount of donation they can make? Resolved donations. All congregations are, again, remember, this is not to be shown to the congregation, only for the elders' eyes. All congregations are asked to establish a monthly resolved donation to support the Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide, but not later than May the 31st, 2014. And I need to ask you a question. A monthly resolved donation, is this a donation when you are asked to donate a minimum amount of donation? I thought donation is whatever and whenever you can donate. No, a monthly donation set amount. That is a scheduled payment. A what do you call that? A permanent payment schedule for every month. That is very different to a donation that comes from your heart whenever and how much you can donate. So let's keep going. What amount should be used for this new resolved monthly donation? The elders in congregations currently making loan repayments will likely propose a resolution that is at least the same amount of the current monthly loan repayment. Keeping in mind that donations will no longer be received from the Kingdom Hall Construction Worldwide contribution box, the elders in congregations without loans or those having standing resolutions to support Kingdom Hall construction worldwide should take a confidential survey for all publishers to determine the amount of the new resolution. This can be done by passing out slips of paper to fill out anonymously by the publishers, indicating how much they are able to contribute monthly towards local congregation expenses, including the resolution to support Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide. At the time the survey is taken, it may be helpful to also review the congregation and the average monthly operation expenses that need to be covered. I now remember being at the meeting when this happened, because we were given a little piece of paper and we were asked to how much can we donate every month, minimum a month, to see if and then that resolution has to at least cover the payment of the loan off for the Kingdom Hall. That is the minimum amount set. Because remember, that doesn't mean the loan payment, the loan cancellation doesn't mean that the loan was cancelled, that you don't have to pay for the loan anymore. That doesn't mean that. They didn't mean that. They meant that they still have to pay for the loans, and they still want to increase the amount of donations that they want to have. And we have proof here that now they want a monthly donations from every single witness. So it's not called a donation anymore. It's called a monthly payment plan. Let's have a look at the next part of the letter. Elders should review this resolution annually in May to ensure the amount is what the congregation is realistically able to donate on a monthly basis. For example, there may be a significant increase or decrease in the number of publishers in the congregation, or the local economic conditions may appreciably improve or deteriorate, thus affecting the amount that the congregation can reasonably contribute. If necessary, the elders may take a few financial surveys, as described above, to determine whether the resolved monthly contribution to Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide should be adjusted for the coming year. So they can only review it every year. So they don't want to have these resolutions change all the time, because then they won't be able to know how much money they can count for. What should be done with the other existing resolutions? Any previous resolutions to support the Kingdom Hall construction should be discontinued. All other resolutions, such as those for contributing to the worldwide work, the convention fund, the traveling overseas assistance arrangement, and the Kingdom Hall assistance arrangement, should continue to be honored. Wow, so many arrangements, so many resolutions, my God. Where more than one congregation shares a Kingdom Hall, resolutions to contribute to a shared Kingdom Hall. So that was the second page. And there is a third page as well. Of course there's a third page. Let me just bring it up again. But this third page, we're not going to read it all, because we're just going to read the most interesting part. Otherwise, this will be a very long video, and we want to keep it short. So the most interesting part is, oh, sure, 1 second. What should be done if congregation funds are not sufficient to cover resolved donations? Oh, what happens if the Kingdom Hall or the congregation falls short of the contributions? If sufficient funds are not available for all resolved donations in a particular month, additional funds should not be solicited. Oh well, that's good. The elders should determine what amounts from the congregation funds that are available at the end of the month will be applied towards the resolved monthly donations, and whether the shortfall should be made up in future months. So if you fall short, don't worry, you make it up in the next future months. However, it will be appropriate for the elders to remind, listen guys, the congregation of the resolved monthly commitments. So, listen, Jehovah's Witnesses, this is an announcement tonight just to remind you that you've committed yourself for a monthly payment. So, you are committed to it. Just as a reminder, we're not asking for money. We're just asking for whatever you said you were gonna put in. So, let's keep going. If the congregation can no longer contribute the amount they resolve on a regular basis, the elders may consider the situation at the next annual review. What's going on? What are we going to do about this? The annual review of the resolution for Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide. Oh, wow. There's another part here. That's a very interesting part as well. That's the, there we go, this one. What type of expenses can be paid from funds received in the local congregation expenses box? These funds should be used to pay approved congregation expenses, including the Kingdom Hall operating expenses, minor renovations, and repairs through the operating committee, if applicable, as well as for all the monthly resolved donations that are sent to the branch office. So all the local congregation expenses box, all the donations that goes into there, this is all the things that you can pay from that. But are there any changes to the existing worldwide work box? No. Funds received in the worldwide work box will continue to be forwarded to the branch office each month. No congregation expenses, listen to this, guys. All Jehovah's Witnesses in the congregation, listen to this. No congregation or monthly resolutions should be paid from these funds. These funds are for us. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. Let's keep going. So there was another letter here. Page 4, I think. Yeah, that's the page 4. Last instructions again about funds. Let's see the interesting parts of this fourth page. And let's have a look. Let's blow it up again. Okay, this is the last page. Surplus funds. Oh, what if there's lots of funds in the bank accounts, guys? Let's have a look. Is it necessary to save congregation funds for future constructions of major renovations projects? Because remember, each congregation had their own reserve funds for renovations or for down payments for other kingdom halls or whatever it will, for the rainy day or whatever. Let's have a look. Is it necessary to save congregation funds for future constructions or major renovations projects? No. While it may be practical to keep sufficient funds in the congregation account to care for minor renovations or repairs, there is no need to save funds for major renovations or repairs, since these projects will be financed by the branch office as needed. So now, because the congregation cannot keep surplus funds, so now the congregation, if they want to do any major renovations, they have to ask the what is it called again? They have to ask the branch for funds or for approval to get some funds to make the major renovations. What should be done with excess congregation funds that are currently being held or that may be accumulated in the future? The elders of congregations having funds on deposit with the branch office should review the balance of such funds and decide if these can be donated in full or in part to the worldwide work or to the Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide, particularly if these funds were being saved for a future construction project. Periodically, the body of elders may also review the balance of the congregation funds to determine if surplus cash could be sent to the branch office as a donation. The recommendation for such a donation should be presented to the congregation as a one-time resolution. When this resolution is approved by the congregation, the one-time donation to the worldwide work of the Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction worldwide may be added to the monthly resolved amount sent to the branch office. So, on top of the monthly donation that the congregation has to make to repay for the loan, any surplus donations that was made in that month has to be sent in full or in part to the branch as well. So nothing to be left to the congregation. Actually, only it was stipulated to only keep 5,000 for minor repairs in the bank account. Anything extra apart from that has to be sent to the branch. So another letter was sent. It was an adjustment letter was sent to the body of elders regarding the congregation funds. So they made an adjustment for this. Let's have a look. Let me bring it up. I'm gonna blow it up a bit. Funding. As stated in the postscript of the letter dated March 29, 2014, congregations will continue to pay for monthly operation expenses, minor maintenance, and minor repairs from the local congregation account or the Kingdom Hall Operating Committee account in cases where multiple congregations share a building. So if one congregation had, or one Kingdom Hall had one congregation, that was the congregation account, bank account. But if many congregations share one hall, they will hold a Kingdom Hall Operating Committee account. Therefore, as described in the instructions for congregation accounts, the bodies of elders determines a reserve amount of funds that will generally be needed to cover 2 or 3 months of operating expenses, which means the water, electricity, things like that, the utilities pretty much, and the cleaning products. Including in these expenses are costs for utilities, supplies, and services. For example, snow removal or servicing of building and irrigation systems. If the bodies of elders believes there is a need of additional reserve of funds, up to 5,000 per congregation may also be held in this account. In these amounts have not already been established, the bodies of elders should meet as soon as possible to do so. So only up to $5,000. And there's a second page. Let's have a look at the second page. Let me just bring it up. I'll just bring it up for you to see it. But if you like to have a look at it in detail and read it, you can just pause the video and then you can go through it. So just to recap, congregation funds were stripped, so no surplus funds, monthly payments, only $5,000 allowed in each congregation account, committed monthly donations to be made to the worldwide work, and any future surplus funds gone. They had to be donated. So this is how the Watchtower grabbed all the bank accounts, all the funds, and everything that the congregations had or owned by themselves. The Watchtower followed up with a new presentation after they done all this, explaining how this master plan and all the funds will work, because after they grabbed all the funds, they needed an excuse or a reasoning why they will grab all the money. Let's watch how this was presented and sold to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let's roll the clip.
What are some of the specific things that are going on? Master planning. Maybe many of you have heard, beginning April 2016, a plan was initiated to better utilize kingdom halls, especially in metropolitan areas. And you might remember one of the broadcasts a little while ago, Brother Lucioni mentioned that we needed about 1,200 new kingdom halls. Well, after a master plan was established, it was found out we don't need that many new kingdom halls. What we need to do is better utilize the kingdom halls that we have. And so it's estimated that we may need 200 or less kingdom halls because of this beautiful master plan, non-construction solutions. So as a result, the number of kingdom halls needed has been reduced significantly.
So Stephen Lett just told us that they needed 1,600 kingdom halls just in the US, and then 14,000 kingdom halls worldwide. Not later, but now. And that's why we need more donations. We need to increase more donations. And that's why Stephen Lett said we didn't mean to say we needed less donations. We need more donations. We needed to increase the amount of donations. Now this helper, this governing body helper, is just saying, no, listen, we got this master plan now and we found out that we're not going to need that many kingdom halls anymore. Let's keep going and see what happens. But one question that we need to ask ourselves is that who actually owns the kingdom hall? Does the watchtower owns the kingdom hall, or does the congregation kingdom hall owns them? So it's a good question, because watchtower is about to explain to us how is it going to start utilizing all the kingdom halls in a much more efficient way. That's the local congregation that donate funds for decades and help to construct the hall, and with free labor, and maintain the congregation on the kingdom hall for years. What do they own the kingdom hall, or don't they? But let's have a look at the following letters sent to the body of elders regarding who owns the kingdom hall. So, table of contents. So we're gonna read the ownership, parts 3, paragraphs 3 and 4. Let's bring that up and let's have a look what it says there about ownership. Ownership. Each kingdom hall is dedicated to the worship of Jehovah, whether the property title or deed is held in the name of the local corporation or trustee arrangement, or it is held in the name of a legal entity managed by the branch office. No congregation, listen to this, no congregation should conclude that he owns the kingdom hall. So they made it clear here, no congregation owns the kingdom hall. However, it is the responsibility of the congregation using the property to care for it and see that it's used in harmony with kingdom interests. So the congregation got the money, or got the funds to pay for the land. They put their own hard work, free labor to build the kingdom hall. Then they pay for it for years, decades, and some even 50 years, because they already paid off the halls. And they are now saying, they're clarifying this, no congregation owns the kingdom hall, even though they've done everything. The watchtower hasn't done anything at all. So after the watchtower made it clear that they are the absolute owners of all the kingdom hall, let's have a look how the master plan was executed throughout the world.
To help organize and prioritize this enormous task, a branch-wide master plan has been developed. What is a master plan? It's a branch-wide plan that provides general locations for new kingdom halls presently needed, along with existing kingdom halls that need major renovation or replacement. How is a master plan developed? The process begins with the collection of data. In cooperation with the Service Department, the LDC collects data on each current kingdom hall. This includes the number of congregations and language groups using the kingdom hall, the number of publishers in each congregation and language group, the average meeting attendance, forecasted growth, and reports on the physical condition of each building. By analyzing this information, areas of highest need become evident, with high priority given to overcrowded and/or severely deteriorated kingdom halls. Then, all the needs within the branch territory are initially arranged and sorted in a prioritized order. Finally, this list of needs is compiled into a branch-wide master plan and is annually submitted to the branch committee for approval. The most critical needs are prioritized and filled first, and those with less critical needs are filled later. How nice to know these decisions are not made arbitrarily, but rather objectively and theocratically. Without a doubt, the needs in our branch territory are immense. Thankfully, Jehovah has provided direction to develop a master plan, that helps organize and prioritize our work. So, if your congregation has a critical need right now, you can be confident it will be filled quickly in an organized way. Until then, your continued patience shows generosity toward those with more urgent needs.
So it's quite interesting that at the end they say patience is generosity, because what happens is that congregation that needs a repair done and is not critical, they won't know when they will get repaired, because they will just go back to it's the master plan making the decisions. You just have to wait patiently until you get selected to be fixed. I went to a Kindle Hall for 3 years and I kept asking, there's a lot of cracks on the walls. Is this safe to, and then they goes, yes, it's been a request has been made for the master plan, and they've been waiting for 3 years. and then I ask, when is this gonna happen? And they go, we're just waiting for the response from the branch. So they're donating all the money. They got no money to fix the things. They're just waiting for the branch to let them know, when will this be done? Because there's no way of knowing where in the queue they are, or how fast or how slow the queue is progressing. They just have to wait patiently. So interesting enough, after this video, the governing body then came with a new arrangement for this master plan. It's called the Grand Design, Construction and Maintenance. Let's watch the video and see what is the new master plan.
As you know, many kingdom halls are being used beyond their capacity. We have 4, even 5 congregations in some single kingdom halls. And you can just imagine what happens when the circuit overseer visits, or when a maintenance project needs to be carried out. Therefore, in order for the growing demand to be met, the governing body has approved an arrangement for the accelerated design, construction, and maintenance of kingdom halls. We are confident of Jehovah's blessing on this new arrangement. It is so faith-strengthening to see you brothers loyally working hard and keeping in step with changing circumstances. You are working hard to keep pace with Jehovah's fast-moving chariot. And that's what the governing body is trying to do. We're just trying to keep up with Jehovah's fast-paced chariot.
So we have here Stephen led to the governing body, reasoning why the Watchtower has grabbed all the funds from all the congregations to speed up the construction and of the new kingdom halls and the maintenance of all this new master plan design and arrangement. Let's have a look what happens next.
Well, like David, make it a matter of prayer to increase your heart's desire to help build facilities to the glory of Jehovah's name as you resolve to do all that your circumstances will allow. You will never regret it. Contribute monetarily. 2 Corinthians 8:13 through 15 speaks of an equalizing that took place in the first century. And it was a real demonstration of Christian love. One group's surplus offset another's deficiency, so that, as the Bible says, the person with much did not have too much, and the person with little did not have too little. Paul's words to the Corinthians applied on an international scale. I mean, if you think about it, he was encouraging the Christians in Corinth to help financially their needy brothers in Judea. Similarly, today, with the consolidation of the loan arrangement, Jehovah's people around the world are equalized and linked more closely than ever before. The governing body is confident that the brotherhood will continue to honor Jehovah generously with their valuable things, as encouraged at Proverbs 3, verse 9. The governing body thanks you dearly for your continued sacrifices in behalf of kingdom interest. We continue to rely fully on Jehovah God to direct our path. And very soon, where's that path going to lead us? It's going to lead us right through the end of this wicked system and into the new world. Those who have remained busy now in the work of the Lord will continue as God's fellow workers. At that time in the new world, as a unified workforce, you will be thrilled to direct your attention to a new work assignment.
So, the equalizing funds, they just took all the funds, made it $5,000 for each congregation, and took everything else. That's the equalizing that they're trying to say. So we made everyone equal. So no one congregation is going to have more funds than the other one. They're all going to have the same amount of funds if they can afford to have that. Because they never mentioned they're going to increase other congregations' funds if they don't have enough to be equal. But anyway, I mean, it's all good, okay? I understand where they're coming from. You know, if all these congregations have lots of money, we're going to move it to these other congregations that they have less money to be able to build, you know, or to maintain the kingdom halls. But the problem that we have is that the Watchtower grabs all the money and they don't show any financial statements, reports, where all this money is going to. They just, I mean, it's easy to just say, oh, we're building, we're maintaining. Where is it? Where is all this money going to? I'm still waiting to someone to show me where every single dollar is going to. I mean, I'm not saying they're not building kingdom halls. They might be building one or two, or I don't know how many. It's hard to know. But they are not being, there's no clarity where the funds are going. There's no clarity within, there's no statements, no financial statements at all. It's all unclear. So for them to say, yes, we're going to equalize everyone's funds, bring it in, because we're going to use them all, we're going to use all these funds for other things with the Jehovah's God's interest. I mean, that doesn't prove anything if they don't show proof. Anyway, let's roll the next clip and see what the governing body has to say here. The governing body now will show us how does the Worldwide Design Committee works. They made this presentation as well. Let's have a look. Let's play it.
Sometimes we can even take our beautiful meeting location for granted. But did you know that a lot of work goes into making sure that our kingdom halls are well utilized? The Worldwide Design Construction Department, or WDC, is tasked with analyzing our worldwide needs and providing direction to local design construction departments on how best to use our dedicated funds.
Many have been working for years in support of Kingdom Hall and Assembly Hall construction projects, most recently as part of the Local Design Construction, or LDC, program. This program was implemented during the 2014 service year and unifies the approach for construction of Kingdom Halls worldwide. What has been accomplished since the program started? At the end of the 2000 service year, half of the publishers worldwide met in suitable meeting places. However, the other half, approximately 3 million publishers, met in places that were overcrowded or otherwise unsuitable as kingdom halls. At that time, 27,000 kingdom halls were needed.
So this video shows how they reduce the number of Jehovah's Witnesses using inadequate worship places by increase the utilization of the permanent kingdom halls, meaning shifting Jehovah's Witnesses Jehovah's Witnesses around. Instead of building or fixing the current kingdom halls, they're just shifting to other kingdom.
By 2014, the number of publishers meeting in unsuitable facilities had been reduced. But due to growth in the organization, this still meant that 1.6 million publishers did not have a suitable meeting place. Since 2014, that figure has been reduced by 25%. What accounts for this significant reduction in the backlog, allowing us to catch up faster than in the past? Part of the answer lies in making efficient use of the facilities we already have.
So, like I said, they're just showing how they shifted people into a different kingdom hall to reduce the amount of kingdom halls needed. So they were shifting people around. So the following video, we will try to reason why the following video, the Watchtower will try to reason why they had to merge all the congregations by saving funds. Let's have a look at the video.
When providing food for thousands, Jesus made it clear that nothing should be wasted. The LDC program applies that principle to the seats in our kingdom halls. As noted earlier, we have 62,000 kingdom halls worldwide. On average, only 60% of the seats are filled for congregation meetings. That means that approximately 3 to 4 million seats are empty during congregation meetings each week. There are a number of options to help make better use of these seats, which will make the use of each kingdom hall more efficient. Consider, for example, a kingdom hall in an urban area. It has 200 seats and is used by 4 congregations sharing the facility. That means the kingdom hall will be in use for 4 weeknight meetings and 4 weekend meetings. It would definitely appear to be fully utilized and suggest the need for new construction for further growth. However, how many seats were in the kingdom hall? 200. Multiplied by meetings for the 4 congregations, this facility has a total seating capacity of 800 people. Global records indicate that congregations using this size kingdom hall have an average attendance of 120 at their meetings. This could mean that only 480 seats are used by the 4 congregations in this kingdom hall, and 320 seats remain empty. Not very efficient. If the 4 congregations were redistributed into 3 congregations, average meeting attendance for each congregation would increase to about 160 per meeting, while still fitting comfortably in that kingdom hall. And this would now allow for an open slot in the schedule, which could be used to meet needs in the area without requiring new construction.
That is how they convince the Jehovah's Witnesses to why they have to move to another kingdom hall instead of building new kingdom halls. But what they don't take in consideration is that not everyone lives around that kingdom hall. So when they make the mergers, so when they reduce the 4 congregations into 3 congregations to increase the amount of attendance, they brought in another congregation from another kingdom hall, so that hall can be emptied. So when they brought that congregation to this other kingdom hall to share the kingdom hall, that kingdom hall, now all the Jehovah's Witnesses from that kingdom hall have to travel maybe 30 or 45 minutes much longer, further than what they had to do before. So they don't say that at all. But that's what was happening around. Because when they had the merge in my kingdom hall, instead of having to go for half an hour, now they had to go for another extra half an hour. That would be another hour extra. Another half an hour extra of traveling. So that's how it works, for most of the people around that area. So the interesting thing though, after they released this video, the Watchtower was ready for the backlash from the members. They brought out this dramatization showing how the Jehovah's Witnesses should behave once they hear the announcement of the congregation being merged to another kingdom hall far away. Let's have a look at the drama that they made.
Did you see? They have us going to the South congregation and everybody else from our group is going to North.
Yeah, I saw that. My aunt and cousins will be going there too.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. They should keep you together. Hi,
it would-
Sister Taylor.
Oh, hello, girls.
I saw your name on the list for the South congregation, but your grandkids and their families, they're going to North. So what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
Well, are you going to North or are you going to South?
Now, sweetie, didn't you say you saw my name listed under the South congregation?
Yeah, but
So, I'll be going to the South congregation.
So, sweetie, why are you asking this question? Didn't you say that you saw my name going to the other congregation? Don't ask questions, just follow the instructions. And funny enough, you can see the elder at the back going, yes, don't ask questions. And that's how it is. That's what happened, you know, like when we were like, oh, you're going to the other congregation. Yes, but that's so far away. Oh, well, that's what we have to do. So there's thousands and thousands of congregations that have emerged around the world, and these congregations have now empty. What's happening to all these kingdom halls that are empty? Well, let's have a quick look at the huge number of congregations that have emerged just within Australia, just to get the sense of what is going on around the world. Australia, just to keep this in mind though, Australia just has around 66,000 Jehovah's Witnesses just within Australia. So it's a small number of Jehovah's Witnesses in this huge country. But let's have a look. Let's bring this up. Let's bring the chart up, and I'll blow it up bit by bit so you can have a good look of the congregations that have been dissolved. Just to keep in mind, this is not a list of kingdom halls sold, but a list of congregations that have emerged within Australia. And just to keep in mind though, these congregations that have been merged, they had to move to a neighboring congregation or kingdom hall. And you know, some of these congregations had to move to like 40 or 50 kilometers away. This is a huge distance for some people, especially for the elderly that don't have cars, or young people who relies on other people to take them to the halls. From 2015 to 2019, so that's 4 years. 51 congregations just within Australia, and that's a huge number in Australia. If you think about it, that's affecting thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if you think about it, 51 congregations, around 100 people, I don't know now, but around 100 people for each congregation. So that's around 5,000 Jehovah's Witnesses that had been affected. The next bit that I'm going to show is the charity registrations of each congregation. So just to prove that these congregations actually have been dissolved or have been cancelled, the charity registrations, meaning that they're just gone. They've been taken over by other congregations. So I'll bring up the list here so you can see. The Albany West Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, this cancel. The Alexandra Hills Congregation, cancel as well. So yeah, there's lots of congregations have been dissolved. 51 of them, and these are the registrations. I mean, I'm not making this up. You can see them by yourself, and you can go to the website and it'll tell you what you're seeing here right now. So the question we gotta ask ourselves now, what happened to all the kingdom halls that are empty now from all these mergers? They're trying to keep track of all the kingdom halls that are being sold within Australia. So let's have a look at this listings. So this one was sold for $430,000 in Australia. This one was sold for $936,000. This one was sold for $1.2 million. This one was also sold for $935,000. So most of the Kindle halls that are sold in Australia are worth quite a bit of money, as you can see. This is was sold for $1.4 million. So I think it's around for $500,000 to $1.5 million. This is sold for $565,000 too. So we can see that all these empty congregations are being sold for $2.1 million. Wow. 1.57 million. They cashing in on this Kingdom halls, I tell you. Wow. $810,000. And $1.1 million as well. So that's 10 of them. I mean, there's a huge list of these Kingdom halls being sold right left and right all around Australia. So just to put this in a different way, let's have a look at this short animation that I created just to see what's happening with all these Kingdom halls. Just to put things in perspective, let's have a look. So we have the watchtower at the top, all right? When a new Kingdom hall was needed, the congregation will save the funds from their own donations because they had a reserve funds in the bank account for these kind of things. The watchtower will provide a loan to the congregation to purchase the new Kingdom hall. For I think it started from 6% to 3%. I'm not sure what is the current interest rate from the watchtower for the Kingdom halls to borrow money to buy a new Kingdom hall. Well, actually, probably nothing now because of they're not building anymore, I guess. All right, so we got the just put three congregations, three Kingdom halls or three congregations, and some of the Kingdom halls will have a few more than the two congregations. So the watchtower will provide the loan. So these Kingdom halls or these congregations will pay the loan, so the money will go back to the watchtower, of course, because watchtower is providing the loan. So now these congregations with the money, they can buy new Kingdom halls. But the thing is that the watchtower is selling these Kingdom halls. So where is the money going back? Because the money came from the other Kingdom halls. No, it's not going back to the Kingdom halls. I mean, to the other congregations, initially not. The money that they are selling from these Kingdom halls is going straight up to the watchtower or a different entity of the watchtower. So yeah, as you can see, all the money heads back to the watchtower. Again, we can't tell what's going on with this money because the watchtower is not clear with this money. They just say that building Kingdom halls, but where is the proof? We can't tell because there's no financial statements, there's no financial reports. The only reports that you see is within the congregation, that's it. There's no reports on the top. So Kingdom halls have been sold left and right around the world. So let's mention some countries. We've got the UK, Australia, the US, Poland, Canada, New Zealand, Netherlands, and some other countries where are much poorer. They're selling their branches, the bigger properties in their countries. So let's try to work out with some numbers here just to get a big picture of what's going, or how much money we're talking about. So there were 119,712 congregations in 2018, according to the Watchtower annual report. Kingdom halls in 2014 to 2019 Watchtower calendar were a number of 64,501 Kingdom halls. So, and the average Kingdom hall supports 2 congregations. So to be fair, let's divide this all these congregations in 3 different levels. So we got the high value congregations that fetch a lot of money. Let's put that at 20%. So that'll be 12,900 Kingdom halls. The second level will be the mid-class, mid-value properties, we'll make that 40%. So that will come to 25,800 kingdom halls. And the low value kingdom halls that might not fetch as much will make that 40% as well, just to make everything fair. So that's another 25,800 kingdom halls. So if we total all that, it will come down to $15,738,244,000. That's how much money the Watchtower can deal with. So I'm pretty sure the Watchtower is gonna be around for some time. So let's work out with what we've got. So let's start with the Watchtower. They received over $2 billion when they sold the Brooklyn headquarters, plus all the other 32 Brooklyn properties as well. $2 billion, and they still hold other properties. I think they still got a few more. So that was a total of $2 billion, 1.94 million. There it is. Anyway, you can look at it. And you can see the prices of each property there, and the address as well. So that's a lot of money. Wow. So now we're gonna look at each some countries that we can tell how much they've sold for. So we got the United Kingdom here. They've sold so far until the 2020. They've sold $147 million worth of kingdom halls and other properties, of course. Interesting enough, if you have a look at the 2014 year, that's where the child sex abuse cases started. Let's have a look at another country. So now we got the United States of America. Let's have a look. They've sold $2.2 billion, almost $2.3 billion worth of properties. And we can see there as well in 2020. That's a massive amount of of cash. My goodness. So now we're gonna look at the Australia sales. So $17 million already in Australia. And 2012, that's when the child sex abuse cases started. And you can see how it ramped up all the way up. So let's have a look at Canada now. So in Canada, they've sold almost $4.2 million worth of properties. So let's have a look at Germany now. So in Germany, they've sold $8.7 million worth of properties as well. Now we're gonna look at Netherlands. Netherlands, they've just sold 380 grand worth of properties. Makes me wonder how many kingdom halls Netherlands have. So now we look at the New Zealand. Let's have a look at New Zealand. So New Zealand have sold $14 million worth of properties. Wow. So when Jehovah Witnesses build or buy a new kingdom hall, they dedicate this place to Jehovah for his blessing, of course. But let's have a look at a video that the JW.org published in their website. It's a dedication video that they made themselves, showing what they do when they have this new hall for the service of Jehovah God. Let's roll the clip.
As we enter Kyrgyzstan, one of the 7 countries on the Eurasian continent with Stan at the end of its name, You'll find many hospitable and open-hearted local residents. Many people raise livestock, and so they well understand the words of David that are recorded in the 23rd Psalm. The truth about the caring shepherd, Jehovah, reached this region in the 1950s. More than 20 years ago, Jehovah's Witnesses gave literature in the Russian language to one Kyrgyz woman. Her small daughter, who stood nearby, said, "Mommy, please teach me Russian, since God talks to people in Russian." Today, Bible-based publications are also translated into the Kyrgyz language, and the Great Shepherd, Jehovah, leads many to grassy pastures. Jehovah uses the branch office in Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan, to refresh his people throughout the whole country and lead them in the path of righteousness. Fellow believers arrived from different countries to help the local brothers with the reconstruction of the branch. All worked hand in hand to accomplish a tremendous amount of work. The brothers and sisters who wholeheartedly supported the project were strengthened and encouraged very much.
We were apprehensive of coming at first, but we have enjoyed ourselves thoroughly on construction.
I thought that this is such a great privilege for us to give all of your strength, everything to Jehovah, and to feel that you didn't waste your youth, and this is so important.
I was touched by the fact that brothers that came from different countries and were of different nationalities worked together in unity. It's yet another proof that this is Jehovah's organization. This project really strengthened my faith.
Jehovah always gives us more than we could ever need or ever want.
For me, those days were the best time in my life.
I would never trade those days for anything.
Participation in the reconstruction was a real gift from Jehovah, and Jehovah really knows how to give good gifts. I am grateful to him for this.
While construction...
As you can see here, the own brothers there and the sisters there, the own congregation, free labor. As you can tell, free labor, and most of the materials probably are donated by the own congregation as well. And the loan, again, as we saw it, is paid by themselves as well.
Work was coming to its conclusion. Preparation for the branch dedication began. It was to take place on October 24th, 2015. Brothers built a yurt on the branch property several days before the dedication program. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. The many guests that came from faraway countries were invited into the yurt and could try the local cuisine. In one of the talks at the program, the speaker compared the branch office to a yurt. Shepherds caring for their flocks in the mountains live in yurts nearby. They are able to hear the sound of their flock from inside the yurt. If something happens, the shepherd can immediately step in to help the sheep. Similarly, the branch office listens to the sheep in the field and renders needed assistance. Therefore, the publishers fear no harm. Brother Stephen Lett, a member of the governing body, came for the special dedication program. This program and another special meeting held the following day were streamed to meeting places throughout the whole country, with a total attendance of over 6,000. Many listeners were touched, and their eyes were filled with tears of joy. Now there are more than 5,000 active witnesses in Kyrgyzstan, a country with a population of over 6 million. They continue to search for honest-hearted people that are thirsty for the truth. Yes, our great shepherd, Jehovah, prepares a rich table and fills the cup until it is well filled. The prophet David sang, "Surely goodness and loyal love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Jehovah for all my days." Jehovah's servants in Kyrgyzstan want to serve Jehovah together with their brothers and sisters earthwide, now and forever.
So now let's have a look. What does Jehovah has to say about this, about his properties being sold? So how does Jehovah God see his dedicated kingdom halls? What about the places that have been dedicated to him and his worship? Let's have a look at this scripture. It's a very interesting scripture. Leviticus 27, chapter 27, verses 28. And let the watchtower, actually let the JW.org read it for us. They're very kind with that.
Chapter 27. But no devoted thing that a man devotes unconditionally to Jehovah from his belongings may be sold or bought back, whether from mankind or animals or the field he possesses. Every devoted thing is something most holy to Jehovah.
Wow, that's very interesting. No devoted thing dedicated to Jehovah can be sold. So how do they get around to this scripture? Every kingdom hall is dedicated to Jehovah. And Jehovah here is telling us it cannot be sold. Maybe they just say it's all light from God. And another good point, every devoted thing is most holy to Jehovah. So we got two things going on here. First of all, it cannot be sold. Anything dedicated to God cannot be sold. And second thing, everything dedicated to God is the most holy. Most holy, not just holy, oh it's good, it's nice, most holy. And what should a Jehovah's Witnesses feel or think about these most holy dedicated places? Well, you tell me. Let's have a look what's happened to all these kingdom halls that have been sold. Let's have a look, what are they used for now? Most holy thing of God. So now that we have in mind a clear picture that everything devoted to Jehovah is the most holy to him, how will he feel when he sees his devoted places of worship like this? Let's have a look. I was gobsmacked when I saw this. Oh, wow. Let's have a look.
Hey there, guys. This is Dan Clark. I'm out here in Sedona, Arizona, and I just wanted to take you on a tour of a former Kingdom Hall. This is a former Kingdom Hall that was bought and paid for by Jehovah's Witnesses that was sold to this church. And I just want to show you the hypocrisy and the craziness of the governing body. I mean, they could care less who they sell to. I mean, they told us that, you know, this was Babylon the Great, the world empire of false religion. They told us that Jehovah's already executed judgment on Babylon the Great. And they sold to these guys. They took their money. They housed them in this church. Let's take a look. You won't believe it. This is a spiritual center, they call it. Jehovah's Witnesses, no consciousness. Take a look.
So remember, guys, remember the scripture, not to be sold. So we see loads of kingdom halls being sold. And remember again, they are the most holy to Jehovah.
Here's the
and
entrance.
Look at these places, these most holy things of Jehovah.
The former Kingdom
church.
Hall.
Let's have a look.
There's a little goddess outside. Watchtower sold this to these people. Let's take a look. Here's a little peephole.
It'll turn them on. You'll hear them click. Okay. Then I'll have to turn them on. See how it came on? So no sound.
So that's so on and off, basically on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, those are the 4 speakers.
And because this one's not on, that one's making noise. Yeah, so I turn on all 4. And as soon as I come in, I just turn on those systems. It's pretty, I mean, literally, you saw it, it's about 60 seconds and everything's on.
Yeah, okay.
This dude, that's the stage there.
This is the remote.
Where all the brothers will give talks.
This is why that accidentally got shut off.
That's where the dedication talk would have been done. That's where the dedication talk would have been done by the brother. It's just unbelievable seeing this. It's just wow. And keep in mind, a Jehovah's Witness will not go into a pagan or another religion, I should say. A Jehovah's Witness will not go into
Kingdom Hall. Used to be Kingdom Hall.
Inside another church. For them to come and see this, it's a slap on the face to themselves.
This is where they used to come in, park. This is the front, all the saints, statues.
If a Jehovah's Witness, if when you're studying the doctrines and stuff, and they see one of these things, you will be told you need to burn it. Burn anything that looks like anything like that.
So the purpose of this video isn't to say that Jehovah's Witnesses sold a church to a metaphysical church. The purpose of this video is to show the hypocrisy of the organization, of the Watchtower organization. I mean, you know, think about it. We were not allowed to set a foot inside of a church, even if it was our father's funeral. I mean, think about that. Your dad died, and he's going to have a funeral in this church. You wouldn't be allowed to set a foot in there. You couldn't sit in there for 30 minutes or 40 minutes while they did a service for your father or a wedding. And yet governing body, without any consciousness whatsoever, sells this church to a church. They actually housed this church in Jehovah's house. And I can't help but think what the brothers would think, you know, that put money into this church, that put maybe 100,000, 25,000, the people that paid on this church, and then governing body, you know, took it back and then sold it and sold it. And, you know, where did the money go?
And it was devoted, this was devoted to Jehovah, right? Is that how?
Yeah, they dedicate these buildings to Jehovah. Maybe somebody built this building. Maybe the witnesses built this building. But the fact of the matter is, it shows that the governing body is all about the money. They don't care who occupies this building, whether it's another church. They care whether or not we go into it.
So yep, it's all about the money. Because if they were going to follow the scriptures, they are very clear. Not to be sold, and they are the most holy things for Jehovah. Does the governing body or the Watchtower care about that? You make your own conclusions. But let's have a look. It's just a one-off. No, let's have a look at another one. Here, let me bring that up for you. So here we can see a French-speaking Baptist church moves into a former Kingdom Hall. There it is. You can't say it's not a Kingdom Hall because look, it's got the Watchtower logo there. Oh yeah. Let's have a look at another one. So this church is called the Five Solas. This is another church. There it is. That's the Kingdom Hall, or whatever it used to be. The most holy thing to Jehovah. Now it's called Five Solas. So we have seen dedicated holy kingdom halls of Jehovah turned into other religions of worship. We have seen kingdom halls turned into an occult worship. Now you will this is gonna be crazy. Now you will see this former kingdom hall change into a luxury home. Let's see it for yourself. Let's have a look. This is just, and this is in Australia actually. This kingdom hall was converted into a luxury house. He actually made it to the news because it was huge. But now, this is not the worst you have seen so far. I can assure you that this will be the lowest that a former dedicated kingdom hall and the most holy thing to Jehovah can go to. I mean, you have to see it for yourselves, because if I tell you, you won't believe me. But see it for yourself. So I went to Google Maps, to get the original picture of the Kingdom Hall, because I couldn't believe it myself. Like, there's no way a Kingdom Hall can be this. So this is the Google map. There's the Kingdom Hall there. I will zoom in so you can see that it's the Kingdom Hall. So that's much closer now. You can see the at the entrance on the right hand side, it says Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the parking lot there. So now this is the pictures of the Kingdom Hall. Look, there's a gathering here of motorbikes. Bikers, huh? Let's have a look. What are they doing with this Kingdom Hall? Oh, what is that? Oh, look at the sign. What is that sign? It's smoking something that's shadow, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Oh,